I am joined by, I would like to say, my good friend Ty, who is not only one of the founders, and also, if I'm not mistaken, you founded Quantum Astrophysicists Guild, which I have seen several games from that. I don't know how to describe QAG accurately.
We don't have a genre that we I make a lot of the puzzle games that we publish,
Yes.
but our genre is solidly good indie games that I feel play really well on a console.
Yeah.
I've seen you play like Breakpoint and so forth, and Vanguard, and
I remember. So you mentioned Breakpoint. That was the moment that I realized, ooh, my wallet is not prepared for what I'm going to deal with. So I remember streaming it, and I was going through, and I was just kind of enjoying the game and having fun. And someone was like, "You can throw weapons," and I was like,
"Yeah,
what?"
It's like the whole thing.
Why would I? But why would I throw my weapon? Oh, that's why.
It's satisfying.
It is so satisfying. It's such a satisfying moment. And it's one of those things, and this is one of the things I love about indie games in general, is that because the distance between the developers and the players can be so much shorter, the devs can see those moments of enjoyment from their players.
Oh, yeah.
And the players can see that passion come out in the devs. So my first question to you, and you're not getting softball questions, by the way. Everyone else got softball questions. Yeah. You're not getting softball questions. What was your favorite moment of a player discovering a mechanic or playing a mechanic that made the devs it may not be rethink, but just reframe how they viewed a part of their game?
I think it's one of the most valuable things for a game designer to do is actually watch people to play in person.
Okay.
So an incredible example of this is Tumblestone, which is a game that I launched in 2016. It was about a 3.5 year development. I took it to 50 different expos. 50. Many multiple days. So I probably spent 100 days of my life on a show floor, and I have this little notebook that fits in my pocket, and I was constantly scribbling down notes.
Okay.
And it was such a rapid iteration.
Okay.
So I would take it to PAX and I write down all these notes, and they're like, okay, let's spend the next 2 weeks before the next show making all these changes.
Right.
And then the next show got these changes. And so all the things that people were like, oh, I don't know, I'm confused by this, that weren't in there. And so we got a new layer of kind of feedback, right?
Right.
And so this very repeated iteration is one of the reasons this game got a 91 on Metacritic. It was like the third highest rated game of 2016. I did almost the same thing with Freshly Frosted too.
Okay.
Also third highest rated game of 2022. Also 91.
So you have a history of knowing.
This is my secret. My secret isn't that I'm some like game design genius. My secret is that I listen to players. I play test all the time, and I iterate. I listen. Like my theory is, if you have 100 people play test your game and one person has an issue, this isn't exactly how statistics work, but that means 1% of the players. So if you now have 1 million players, that means 10,000 people are going to have this issue,
and that's enough people to review bomb something into the Stone Age, which is unfortunately, yeah.
So if you're playtesting, have a small sample size of 100. Listen to that one person, because that matters. Think about it a lot and make these changes.
I mean, that does make a lot of sense. That does make a lot of sense. Yeah. And even though you're like, yeah, statistics don't work that way, it's enough. It's enough of a. It makes enough sense that if you were to pitch that to a dev, they would go, oh, okay, that tracks.
Yeah, work with what you got. Work with the data that you have, and take it to places like Seattle Indies Expo, which is a fantastic place for feedback.
Seattle Indies Expo is a fantastic place for feedback. We might be ever so slightly biased, but we'll get to Seattle Indies Expo in a moment. You just don't touch that dial. So I have another question based on. So we just got done having the kind of panel where we had several of our founders up there talking, and there was one thing that I heard that I kind of wanted to ask you more about, and that is the relationship between streamers and game development.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask this as kind of direct as I can. Do you feel like nowadays, with the explosion in the number of streamers that exist, is that an extension of your kind of game development trick of like taking it to each of these different shows and having them all play it? Or do you think this is more used as a marketing thing than a development?
It's a marketing thing.
Okay.
I think if I have launched some demos publicly before launch, and I do watch those streamers play.
Okay.
We did that with Freshly Frosted. A lot of the Soba people played it. I like Mac and Cheese Please loved the game, and I remember got so many notes from her playing.
Yeah.
Beforehand. But the thing is, if the thing I like about an expo where it's kind of like one-on-one is it's private.
Gotcha.
A Twitch stream is public, and so like these things I'm trying to iron out aren't going to end up in the final game.
Okay.
But viewers probably don't understand the industry enough to know that like the issues that someone might be having with a pre-release demo aren't going to be in the game. Like maybe they are nowadays with early access. Maybe they've seen enough unfinished games, but I prefer as much feedback to be private as possible so it doesn't tarnish the end result perception of the game.
That makes sense. That actually makes a lot of sense, and I definitely can see how, even if it's a game that the streamer loves, if there's some weird thing about it, there's going to be that one person who goes, "Well, I don't like that thing, so I'm not going to play it." I do believe though that is changing more nowadays because we do get more games that are early. We get games in early access. We get games that are in beta. So there's a lot more. I think there's a lot more grace that is given. But I also think one of the benefits of being an indie dev is that you get more grace by default because gamers think, and for some reason they still have this misconception that a game that's developed and they see you, and they're like, "Oh, well, did you work on this game?" Like, yeah, this is my game.
This is why I put my name on the company name. It's just like made by Ty Taylor and whoever else,
but they all assume that it's like, oh, like if you put made by Ty Taylor and Kevin Williams, they assume, only those two people, those two guys by themselves spent the last 5 years making this game, not realizing that like it's a cliche, but like it takes a village.
It does take a village
to do those things. And although you might only have one person at the forefront, like Eric Baroni, who will be speaking at Slice, if you want to hear more about that. Or like Local Thunk is a more recent example. It's like, oh, well, this is a solo dev. Solo dev does not mean that it only took one person.
Sure, of course.
But I think that because that misconception exists, indie games get a little bit more leeway because like, oh, it's a small team of developers.
Yeah, it is a small team of developers.
And it's like, oh, well, it's a small team, so it's cool that this thing doesn't work. I personally think, and this is going to be slightly controversial, I think that Player Obscure would not have set the world on fire as fast as it did if it were made by Square Enix.
Interesting.
Same game, same mechanics, same bugs, same jank, same choices to nerf some things. I think people would have been super upset about those nerfs because Square Enix is big developer.
Yeah.
So I think that is one of the benefits of indie devs.
I think people fall into two camps. I definitely see what you're saying, but like also, it's made me cynical interacting with people online, of course, because a lot of people do not care about that at all. A lot of people do not understand the difference at all between an indie game and a AAA game, and maybe they're kids online. I don't know, but like a lot of people just do not understand the game industry. A lot of people do not understand how games are made at all, and that's fine. You can still enjoy games and be a gamer. Like people watch movies or TV and have no idea about the production that goes behind it at all. Still enjoy the show or movie. That's fine. But people who then voice their opinions online.
Aggressively. You can voice your opinion online all day long. Yeah. It's when you become... Listen, I'm going to plug my stream for a brief moment, just to plug one part of it. There's a motto in my stream, and it's don't be mean. That's the part that's important. You can voice your opinion all day long. Just don't be mean.
Yeah.
And I wish more people understood that.
Yeah.
But we will end up down a rabbit hole if we continue that conversation.
Sure will.
So I do have you mentioned 6. And one of the other founders we talked to viewed 6 as a really good goal and a really good tool because of the other steps that Seattle Indies provides, from like the co-working to the showcases to the critiques and moving up that ladder.
Yeah.
How do you view Six as an event?
So Six is a celebration. Six is a celebration of our community and what everyone is working on in our accomplishments. And yeah, you can see what other people are working on at the co-working and at at the show and tells, which are almost, you could call those mini Sixes. But Seattle Indies Expo is a curated event with 4,000 people. It is a big, pronounced event in Seattle that you should absolutely come to.
And this is because it's free.
It's free, yeah. This is a celebration of the hard work that people do for their games, because it takes a lot of literal blood, sweat, and tears. I have done all three for sure.
Sometimes in the same day.
I have to replace my graphics card and I'm bleeding. Anyway, blood, sweat, and tears go into making games, and this is a celebration of the hard work that all of the indies in our community do, and we try to fit as many of them as we can. We have to curate it because we have such a huge community with so many submissions.
Yeah.
So it is curated to the top 40% or 40 games, percent, because 100 games submitted. So 40 games.
Yeah. Which is how percentages work.
This happens to be. I misspoke, but also didn't. Anyway, 40 games are hand selected by expert judges of the community, and this is as many as we have space for. As we grow, we want to show as many as we possibly can, because it is a celebration of all the hard work that everyone does throughout the year.
So I know that we're getting close on time because they're about to turn the lights off and throw us out. But I do have a question that is unique, that I'm uniquely asking you.
Okay.
If you could wave a magic wand, what would you turn Six into? Would you make it as big as PAX? Would you make it its own bespoke event that's somewhere else? What would you do?
I think, just like indie game developers in contrast to AAA, Seattle Indies Expo is a similar contrast to PAX, where PAX is very much a home of AAA and major indies, but I think Six is special because it is smaller, and I definitely think we have room to grow. We've literally doubled our space from 1 floor to 2 floors at the Motif. But there's something incredibly special about the somewhat indie nature of Seattle Indies. We are a scrappy nonprofit. We're a 501c3. We're a charity organization, completely centered around supporting developers in the Seattle area. It's exactly what Six is. We don't make money off of this. This is a scrappy indie team helping make an event for scrappy indie developers.
Okay. That is an excellent point.
And that atmosphere makes it incredibly special.
I agree. I do still have a counterpoint, though.
Sure.
You know what I would do differently?
Sure.
6 East, 6 West. I would want to.
Where's Seattle Indie?
Well, listen.
You mean Redmond by East?
I mean, you're not wrong, but I would love to see, because I know that it is the top 40 games of the 100.
Sure.
And as a person who has hosted a couple of years, I've seen games that have been spectacular games that have then gone on to be a part of Six and then gone on to be in other places as well.
We call Six a stepping stone to PAX as well. PAX is obviously that AAA bigger event. Six is where a lot of games go first. Like Slay the Spire was at Six before it blew up.
Yeah. I would like to see a 6 West. I'm sorry, 6 East. I know that, but then it would be Bix.
Well, okay, so the Boston Indie Games is also a vibrant, active community, and so they should probably be doing it. It's almost a sister organization. Seattle Indies happens to be home of one of the largest independent game developer groups in the world, mostly because of all the tech here. But Boston is also a thriving community as well. So we should talk to them. I know a few people there. But we are even branching out of Seattle. We now have events in Olympia.
So now it's
becoming Washington Indies, perhaps.
Okay.
Or even growing even beyond that. At GDC, we have 4 events. We had 4 events this last year.
Wait, you guys had 4 events at GDC this year?
Including the roundup for organizers of communities. And then we had a community organization meetup at a brewery.
Right.
We had an after party for developers, and then we had a pre-GDC park party.
Okay. I feel like I I feel like I need to know more about when these things happen, which means I probably need to go to seattleidies.org so that I can stay up to date on all these things and maybe even drop into the Discord, which I can find at seattleidies.org.
That's right.
But the other thing that I probably need to do, and this is going to be coming up very soon, is that I need to go check out Seattle Slice. Because I am really looking forward to seeing a GDC level event in Seattle.
I think we all are. I'm still mourning PAX Dev. It was one of my favorite conferences, mainly because I could walk there from my house. But I did love that. I did love that conference, and it didn't survive the pandemic. But we are filling that vacuum with Slice. It's kind of meant to be a DICE or GDC like conference, very networking focused, very high level B2B sharing of knowledge for indies in Dev LA. And as we've seen here tonight at the founders talk, there's a lot of knowledge to be shared.
There is.
And right now we have over 20 different sessions planned. So there's no shortage of content. We're being very meticulous to provide something for everyone, like a slice of the pie of knowledge, if you will.
Yeah, and it is Wednesday, August 27th. And it is an all-day event where you can see all of those things. You can see roundtables. You can see different panels. We've already mentioned that Eric Roney is going to be there, but there's a lot of stuff to do.
A lot of the local platforms, Valve, Epic, Unity, Amazon, they're all going to be there. It's definitely something to show up to, and it's only $100 with 25% off if you're in our Seattle Indies Discord. There's no reason not to go.
Well, not only if you're in the Seattle Indies Discord, I think if you go to seattleslice.org, it will direct you to the Discord to get the discount.
Yeah.
So
just do that.
There's no reason for you to not be. Matter of fact, we're gonna leave. We're gonna cut this off right now so that you can go to seattleslice.org so you can get your tickets so we can see you at Slice.
It's gonna be really good.
It's gonna be.
It's gonna be really good.
Ty, always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
And what are you doing? Why are you not at Slice already? We already told you. You know what? We're gonna fix this right